Rick, how you doing?
Good morning, and good morning, everyone. How are you all doing?
Y'all are doing great. Hashtag y'all.
Those-
And this is we can take a little bit extra time today. I'm at my house now. This is they can see one corner of it, but it's a beautiful house in New Jersey. Someday actually when it's warm, I'll be able to do this outside on the back porch. 26 acres. It's awesome. It's where my third mystery is set. But anyways, that's beside the
Mm.
point. So I can do these out here now, which means, we have more flexibility. I can do this wherever that I've got Wi-Fi. When we go to Rainbow Mountain for Memorial Day weekend, I could do one there, but their Wi-Fi is really shitty. So just briefly, I was checking today's clickbait at the Huffington Post. I know that it's either the New York Times or the Huffington Post. And here's one. Life just happened to these kids and their responses are perfect. I can't wait till the show's over so I can see.
I know, right? Well, first of all, we got to open the cafe, Mark.
Bing it. Bing it. Cafe's open, everybody. And
Welcome to Cafe
I have
B.
a cup of coffee. I got all kinds of stuff going on. And I got today's hat is
I can't read that. Hold on.
it's
Oh, you did wear it, Mark. You did wear it before, Mark.
the Key
You
West.
wore.
Okay, well, whatever.
That's okay, but that's okay. Mark wears a different hat every week. Some weeks, because of his age, he'll repeat the hat and think it's a
That's
new
true.
one.
I'm old. And this is a butterfly conservancy in Key West. I loved it. I loved going to Key West. So we're out here for the Easter weekend. We were going to go to Rainbow Mountain, but then I said, we hadn't been here a lot because you were here and there were like all these weekends we weren't here. And then last weekend I said, well, why go there this weekend? We come here, have a nice weekend at the house because I was off yesterday, and we're going Memorial Day weekend. The pool opens, so
I
we're
know
gonna.
the here to Memorial Day to Labor Day is how they do it in the South. But you're right. A quiet Easter weekend, me too. Unexpected. It
They
snuck
don't
up on
open the
me.
pool on Labor Day. Labor Day is the end of summer.
They close it on Labor Day.
That's what I said. They are opening the pool. I didn't say
Oh,
they're
I know, and
closing
that's
it.
I was saying in the South. They open on Memorial Day, close on Labor Day.
Okay. I got
But
plans.
anyway, I found myself with nothing to do Easter weekend too, and I kind of like it. I could have drove down to New Orleans and could have done a lot of. Well, sure, I could have flown to New York. I could have drove to New Jersey. I could have done whatever. But it's kind of nice to have a quiet Easter weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Very nice. And today is a no chore day. I promised myself I'm not doing any chores. Tomorrow I'll do lots of chores. But I am reading. I'm working. I'm reading. We've gotten some great submissions for the collection, for the over 50 LGBT collection that Steve Dolansky and I are doing. Really good stories and a lot of great lesbian writers. I gotta say, the lesbians
Hmm.
are turning in some fabulous stories.
That's fantastic. That's in Mark's other life, folks. He's got a lot of lives all wrapped into
Well,
one,
it's
kind of
one
like
life, and
yeah.
I also just finished my third mystery. So and
Did you
that'll
get it done? I know that was your goal to get it done this weekend.
yeah, it'll be out, and it takes, well, I'm gonna say 8 weeks because one final proof, and then Frank's brother is going to be my third and final proofreader. I'm going to send it to him because I want to really not have more than a couple typos. You can't avoid them; they're going to be in there. But Frank's brother's going to read the last, like he's the last eyes on it, and then it goes to the publisher, and it takes about 6 weeks. I'm the publisher,
Oh,
Maidmark Publishing, but CreateSpace is
no, I
the
know the
printer.
actual people that put it together. But let's tell people real quick, and then we'll get our first true cafe topic going. Tell people where they can find your book because people may not know.
Well, they can find the series at K Callahan. That's K Callahan because it's the Kyle Callahan Mysteries. KCallahanMysteries.com. And the first two chapters of the new book are up there, so they can read those as a bit of a tease. And then I'll be writing the fourth one, and this one was a departure for me because it's not the third book in the trilogy. The next one is the third book in the trilogy. But I love Detective Linda, the lesbian detective, so I wanted to write a book where she's the lead. It's she and Kyle. They're all together. They're always together. But she's the lead, and it takes place out here in a house very similar to this one.
Ooh,
Sh
mystery begins. So before we open the cafe, if you
we
could
did
cast
open it.
that, oh, oh, we did open it, but subject change. If you could cast Linda, who would it be playing it in a movie?
It would be the woman on Game of Thrones who plays Lady Brianna, whatever her name is. She's the
Very
big
good.
Amazonian one, the blonde one that
Right.
they just tried to tell us she was straight all this time on the last episode, but that's Detective
Spoiler
Linda.
alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Or maybe that wasn't a big plot point, was it?
No, it's not a huge plot point, but she's like every lesbian's dream. I mean, I see her as Detective Linda. She's big and tall, and she kills people. I love it.
Manly. Okay,
Not
your turn.
manly. Not manly. Amazonian.
Oh yeah, there's a big difference. Okay, topic. Come on, let's go. Bring it.
Well, I've got two topics today. My first one is Out magazine. If it's Do you still call them magazines when they're really online things like Advocate? It's not the Advocate's not a magazine anymore. But anyways, Out
Do they
just
not print either of those anymore? They're not
I
in
don't
print at
know.
all.
I don't
Well,
know, but it's
yeah,
really
there's still a magazine.
everything's
There's still,
online. But
yeah.
Out just came out with their 50 most powerful LGBT
Oh,
people. And I just bridle against this stuff. I hate these lists. They do it every year, and it's not Out's fault. They all do this shit. And like posted that day, I couldn't give less of a shit who the 50 most powerful LGBT people are, because it's like the Christian in me, or it's like the Christian sort of perspective in me, that I really prefer to champion the unsung and the powerless. And I said that on Facebook, the LGBT senior Facebook page, and some guy got all Oprah on me and said, "We're all powerful. We just don't know how powerful we are." And I wrote back and I said, maybe I should say dispossessed, disenfranchised, politically powerless, economically powerless. Power is not a form of self-esteem, but that's what we think in this culture now. Thank you, Oprah, and whoever else propagates this shit. Um,
Andy Cohen, whatever. Yeah,
you
so
know what I'm
powerful.
ta- you know what I'm talking
I
about. I
hear
wasn't
you.
talking about, I'm powerful. Give me fucking prostate cancer and we'll see how powerful I am. I'm talking about I'm just not. I have no interest at all in reading a list of 50 people with Ellen DeGeneres and Andrew Sullivan and all this other shit. They're so, you know what I mean? It just bores
I
me.
hear you. I know.
Um,
I hear you. And I was a little upset that Dewan Trent, our queer queen, that's going to be on LGBT SR's Age to Perfection this week, first Miss America contestant, one of the top 10, she didn't make the list. So, whatever.
you weren't on it either.
I want to talk about. Did you see the news Tuesday that Matthew Weaver, the guy that did Rock of Ages on Broadway and then moved it to a film, has bought the rights to Soul Train? We talked not too long about the suicide death of Don Cornelius, which is still tragic to me. This show started back in 1970. Lasted 35 years, and then sadly, 7 years or so after it ended, he took his own life. Kind of the Black American Bandstand, if you will, when it came out, Marquez. They showed all the moves, and the Diana Rosses, or Donna, I should say, the Donna Summer folks on there. So anyway, they're looking to make it into a Broadway musical. This guy also produced the movie We Are the Millers, which was real popular this year. And they're getting down to song selection right now, and I can't wait to see Soul Train, the musical.
It could be good. There's a Barry Gordy musical out now that I'd like to
Is
watch.
there?
Yeah, I'd kind of like to see it, but not enough to go.
Well, of course, the Carole King one is doing tremendous on Broadway, and they were doing the Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS speech at the end of the show. I don't know if you saw that last week, and she was in the audience the whole time with her sunglasses on at the end of the show when they were doing the call to action that they do this time of year on Broadway. She came on the show, and then she and the gal playing her on stage sang a song together. It was pretty cool.
I like that. That's awesome. It's
Oh,
Janis
the queer.
Joplin is on Broadway. They're all of these like people from. Well, I'm older than you are, but like all of these 1960s type things, and anyways, they turn them into musicals. And
It's weird. It's weird. Your turn.
my last topic for the day, and I don't want to rush this one. It's well, I mean, my last one will be Easter, I guess, but Truvada. It's either Truvada or Truvada. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the drug that's out now that I didn't really know anything about, but I was reading Andrew Sullivan's blog, which will come in a moment, and he was like, everybody should, because the people in the healthcare, not the healthcare industry, but the HIV, prevention and treatment field, are not fans of Truvada. And the one guy from the Chicago Health, AIDS Health, whatever, called it a party drug. And Andrew Sullivan is like, oh, everybody should be on Truvada because if everybody who's positive was taking medication and then everybody who's not was taking Truvada, we could wipe out HIV in a generation. And so for a minute there, I even did a blog post about it. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. we shouldn't be calling it a party drug, and that's like saying every woman who takes the pill is a slut, and da 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 da. Da. But then yesterday I had a got my physical, and my doctor's gay. I hadn't seen him in
Oh,
a
that's
couple.
right. I forgot about
Yeah,
this. What
Dr.
happened?
Engel. I hadn't seen him in a couple years. I really like him and respect him. But I changed my insurance, and he doesn't take it now. He does, and the other
Mm.
blah 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 blah. So I go see Dr. Engel, and I said to him, "What do you think about Truvada?" And of course, he has some patients who take it, and he has very
Oh.
mixed feelings about it. And first of all, he said Andrew Sullivan's an asshole. He said, "Do you read Sullivan's blog?" I said, "Well, that's where I got all this stuff." And because I'm monogamous and married, and I don't really pay that much attention to this stuff, but he said Andrew Sullivan's an asshole, and he said he has mixed feelings about it. He prescribes it, but very cautiously. And he said, first of all, he said a bunch of things. He said the dirty little secret with HIV is that if you're on medication and you have no viral load, you will not infect anyone. So if you're a serodiscordant couple and your partner is has no viral load because of the medications, you don't need Truvada. And he said he said if you can't negotiate safe sex, okay,
Right,
take
right.
Truvada. If you're somebody who you've got a drinking problem or a drug problem and you can't, you cannot deal with
Make
this, then
it
take
right.
Truvada. But he said really the only reason to take it is if you absolutely have to get fucked without a condom. And he's not a fan of it. He said it's a HIV medication. It's not candy. It you have to be checked, regularly because it can damage your liver. And he said you have to take it every single day. It's like the pill for women. You must take it every day or it doesn't work. And he said statistically they've discovered that only 40% of people on Truvada take it every day. And so he was really not a fan of it, and it totally changed my perspective. And on the one hand, I'm not going to slut shame men who take Truvada so they can fuck. On the other hand, I think you got to really think this stuff through. And then the other thing he said that really resonated with me, and this was probably more powerful to me than anything, was he said it's a white man's drug. He said if you can't, it's $1,000 a month. I didn't know
Amen.
that. He said if you have insurance that's willing to pay $1,000 a month for you to take this, so you can get fucked without a rubber, great. But there's an awful lot of like a majority probably, especially minority communities and low income people who are affected by HIV who can't afford this drug. So, stop trumpeting it as, you know what I mean? And then of
Oh
course,
yeah.
Sullivan never replies to emails of mine, or I would write him and say, what about all these people who don't have the money for this? And then I thought, and then I'm going to shut up. And then I thought, well, he could write back and say, well, we've got Obamacare now, and they can get it through that. And then I thought, and this is totally just where my head goes. I thought, should the taxpayers be
Exactly. I was
paying
just heading that way.
$12,000 a year so you can take Truvada because you don't want to tell your date that he's got to put a condom on?
Yeah, take
So
that to the Supreme Court. What would happen there? I mean, if it is covered, like the whole controversy recently with birth control, interesting, or
So
contraception.
I've changed my mind about it. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna slut shame men who use it, but I'm not. But I realize too that, like he even said to me, he said, "I know Andrew Sullivan." He said he's got issues about how he got infected, which was through barebacking, and this is part
Mm.
of how he works it out. He hates condoms and blah 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 blah. That's his shit. But don't go out there, talking like this is some kind of miracle drug. You can't go down and get it for 50 cents at the fucking drugstore.
No, I like what you're saying too. One of your end comments there was, why was it created? It was created by some pharmaceutical company to make millions of dollars, and obviously the advocacy of someone like Sullivan is going to help those companies make that money. Why else would you make it? Like you said, it's really there just for the barebackers out there that just don't, and that's fine. I'm not, whatever. But the point is, really, this is not about judgment, folks, on Mark's part or my part. I hear Mark's sincerity. But what it is about is that's the only reason it exists. Sex isn't defined by just that one particular act. And someone's making money off of it because they know there's a market like the Sullivan wannabes that will use it because that's what they want to do. But enough. I'm sorry. I got into it too. But in the meantime, Mark, there's a great contest going on June 14th out your way in Brooklyn. Speaking of this topic, and then I'll move on to we can talk about Easter, but it's the smallest penis contest. They had a winner last year. You go and you compete. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying one can go and
I
compete.
could
You
compete.
No, you could not. Let's not go there right now. Smallest, so it's SPB dot Brooklyn at gmail.com if you want to compete. And the winner wins a wheat crown and a scepter. They win some money. Usually they give it back to therapy. And it's all about empowering the small people.
I really like that. And is it
Yeah.
compete or compete?
You compete and you make the top or the bottom 50 list of smallest penises in the country. That's what we need. That you would read. Photos
I would.
attached.
I would read the, well, yeah, and I would read the 50 most powerless people.
Anyway, I got to make a comment, then we'll move on to Easter. So change the subject. Justin Bieber, did you see that? The White House finally ruled We the People, the website with petitions that go to the White House to decide if they're going to take on the petition. The Justin Bieber deportation petition, 100,000 people, is one of the largest. If I'm not mistaken, it actually was the largest petition ever on We the People. The government spoke up yesterday and said they're not going to hear it. They don't care. And then they made it into a big political statement. The people that did this said, oh, he's ruining our pop culture here. He's a DUI. He's speeding. Why should he stay here? And their point is well taken. He's here on a performing visa, but there's so many people here on visas that if they commit a crime and it's sentenced by a year or more, I think that's the rule, they have to be deported. So he has his hearing coming up. I think it's May 5th down in Florida. He could be deported. It'd be very interesting if that happens, but of course he's a celebrity and he'll probably get around it. But I love this, Mark. We know Obama's got his issues with the press and knows how to block the press, and he's done some things very non-traditionally. But he turns the whole subject into his immigration platform by equating it to say, yes, this is why we need immigration reform. We have over 1 million people living in silence, or 11 million people living in the shadows of the United States, and if we pass immigration reform, we will have $1 trillion saved in this country over 20 million years, which equates
20
to get
million
this.
years?
I'm sorry. Yeah, over 20 years, $1 trillion would equate to 12.5 billion tickets to a Bieber contest, or 100 billion albums sold of his. So they kind of did a little spin on it.
Yeah, wow.
Look at this chance. Yeah, interesting. Easter.
Yep, this will be it because we're at the 17-minute mark.
Yeah, but I got to end it. You talk Easter, and then I got to end it with something
No,
really
just okay. Then I'm going to keep it short. Just happy Easter to everybody. And there's like one little tiny thread on this because a friend of mine on Facebook, she lives in Oregon. And she's an atheist, and she's got like little atheist bumper stickers. And she posted yesterday about how some guy like came up to her car with her and her husband and went off on her about how the
Come on.
yeah, no, he's like a Christian or whatever. And I wrote back, I wrote and said I was thinking just yesterday morning because I started the day by saying Happy Good Friday. I don't know if that's what you say, but I said Happy Good Friday to all my Christian friends, and because I'm
I
not.
don't think you should say it that way. Everyone was using that yesterday at work. I'm like, what? It's nothing to be happy about, but it is. Go ahead.
Well,
Ultimately,
whatever. Be morbid Good Friday. Morbid Good Friday, everybody.
hey, more of a good Friday to you,
You're
chap.
you're derailing me. My point is that I believe that if you are secure in your people who are secure in their beliefs, whatever they are not threatened by other people's beliefs. So the fact that because I thought somebody on the page, the LGBT senior page, might write back, and there is no God because people do that shit. I'm like, I'm not weighing in on that. I'm just wishing my Christian friends, because it's a big holiday for them, and
It is.
have a very reflectful Easter.
I appreciate it. It's my favorite holiday of the year. For those that want to say something in either regard, stuff a peep in it. That's what I want to say. World's record peep holder, 10 peeps in his mouth at one time. Guy named Harmon Leon.
Oh, that's what you meant by peeps. I thought you meant your friends.
No, I want to talk about peeps, but that's all I got to say. You know how many peeps are produced a day? People forget this. It's amazing. 5 million peeps a day, Mark. Enough to circle in 1 year. They could circle the world twice. There's that many peeps. 28 calories in a damn peep. Low sugar considered to, compared to other Easter candies. But anyway, that's it. The peep. No wings. Did you ever think they don't have wings? They're chickens without wings.
Well, I'm not surprised about that. But is there a contest for the smallest peep?
No. No, I think they're all pretty uniform. Just what if we were all born with the same penis size? Life would be no fun.
Well, I don't think we would notice.
Yeah, well, we would eventually if you were gay or having sex with another person of the same gender. Do you think when they do penis enlargement, like when people get a penis put on, like when they're going through reassignment surgery, do they get a choice of their penis size, like when women have their breasts reconstructed after surgery, or is it only with what you got, like the size of your clit determines the size of your penis?
I have no idea, Rick.
Okay, we
You're gonna
needed
have
to
to.
end this a lot.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
need. This is really what we needed to end an Easter podcast on. But you'll have to research it. That's your
no, I'm
assignment.
not gonna reason. I don't. If anyone knows the answer, go ahead and comment. But Mark, happy Easter to you as well. Enjoy your time in New Jersey and your new MacBook. I know you got a new book, a new book. I mean, a
A new
new
laptop.
computer.
By the way, the resolution's great. I can see like what you really look like. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
like that.
know. I look like I'm wearing like a green dress for Miss America.
And
I
not
just
much.
realized.
And when it's warmer, we're doing this without shirts.
Oh well,
We're
no,
gonna
yeah,
do
we
it.
got to get 20 pounds less, both of us. That's our goal, and then we're
I'm,
doing it without
I'm
shirts.
almost there.
Then we can go like this. What the hell is that? Oh, it's a pillow. It's a pillow. Never mind. All right. Happy Easter, everybody. Peace out,
Bye.
peeps.
Talk to you soon.